Hello, everyone, and welcome to Applied International Economic Policy. Given the current situation, I really hope this finds you well. I hope you're ready for a somewhat unusual semester, a perhaps somewhat experimental semester, because that's exactly what you have in store. But I think it should be quite enjoyable. At least we'll make the most of the somewhat difficult situation. And yeah, let's dive in. So in this first video of many, I want to just provide a bit more information on the course, what to expect in the weeks to come. So hopefully you've seen the syllabus already. If not, well, get ready for it. Here it comes. If you have, well, I'm just going to provide a bit more commentary on what the basic information that you have seen. So my name is Ryan Woodgate. I know many of you already. For those of you who don't know me, I'm from Ireland. I did my bachelor's at the University of Edinburgh and a joint master's program between the Berlin School of Economics and Law, of all places, as well as the University of Paris 13. I now do some research into globalization, multinational enterprises, and post-Keynesian theory as part of a PhD project. And yeah, I also do a fair bit of teaching these days. So let's see. As you see in the top right-hand corner, there is my email address. Please do use it. That's the first point I want to emphasize, especially in this semester where interaction is perhaps a bit more limited than usual. Please do avail of this channel to express any confusion, doubts, questions you may have. That is what it is there for, and I will very happily oblige. Okay, so our course will be delivered entirely online, as I'm sure you know. This will fall into a few categories. We have the content videos, where I will present information just like in this one. These will be uploaded between Monday and Wednesday of each week. And then on Thursday, we will discuss those content videos, but also, and perhaps primarily, the reading that I set for each week. The reading will not be too long most of the time, usually fewer than 20 pages. The first week is actually quite, I would say, easy reading. One of the pieces is a news article, and I hope you find it interesting. So yeah, in these discussions, we will go over those readings as well as the content and any questions that you may have. So as you go through these videos, please do treat it like a lecture, make notes, and ask them on Thursday. That's what that discussion is there for. Why are we doing videos and a discussion and not simply online video conferencing? Simply because we have a very large course, and my experience with these things suggests that there will be technical difficulties. And I would hate to think even 2 or 3 people get kicked out of a Zoom conference call and then miss out on material that they were doing their best to follow. So content, short videos, short as possible, to try and keep your attention. And then we will have a discussion on Thursdays. We'll use Jitsi. I will provide another video where I go through some guidelines for using Jitsi, just to ensure there's no chaos, just to ensure we can have an orderly discussion as best possible. And that video will follow before long. Lastly, I will open up the Moodle forum so that if you have any questions that you think others may benefit from or that others may also have, then do post them to the forum so that other students can answer, so that I can answer, and everyone can be informed about the sorts of questions that you may have. This can be about content. Well, usually will be about content, right? For each week, but also it can be, well, whatever comes to mind. Okay. I'm sure you know all about the course description and the desired outcomes by now. Generally, the focus is on policy. The focus is on current macroeconomic phenomena and current macroeconomic problems that affect the global economy or specific regions, certainly at the macro level and international level. Theory is necessary for what we aim to do, but this is not a course, unlike others, where we will compare different theories, different approaches. Those sorts of courses are extremely important, of course, and I encourage you to dive into one if you haven't done so already. But here we are focusing on economic phenomena as they exist and what we can do about them, how we can understand them. Broadly, this will be done through a post-Keynesian framework, as that is the one I find most useful. And if you're unfamiliar with post-Keynesianism versus, let's say, neoclassicism and so on, don't worry too much, but I can also provide you with some literature, if you like, on the different schools of thought within macroeconomics. Okay, turning to the assessments. The assessment for this course is like most other courses in the second semester. It is a 100% essay. That's 5,000 words per student. Or if you're in a group of 2 or 3, then it's 4,000 words per student. So groups of 2 have to submit an essay of up to 8,000 words. This includes the references at the end of your essay. It does not include anything before the word introduction at the very beginning. Okay. Yes, I would also like for you to submit an outline of your essay. What phenomenon you plan to look at and how you are going to structure your essay. The reason for this is so that I can see what you're planning, where you're going before you get there. So that I can essentially help you get a better grade, because I would hate for you to kind of go off down some path that doesn't make any sense or something like that, investigating something of little interest, of little macroeconomic significance, and then get a poor grades with little feedback. I would rather give you feedback as much as possible through the semester and after this outline, and discuss it with you at the beginning of July, as we'll get to now in a second, schedule. When we get to talking about schedule. Generally, the essay is about presenting a macroeconomic phenomenon of your choosing. So it's quite broad, but the purpose here is to essentially develop your independent research skills. It's not to sort of confine you to thinking about one topic in particular, but to encourage you to investigate the data that are out there about the country you come from, or about, let's say, the Eurozone, or about the global economy, whatever you find most interesting. So I hope this gives you more scope to be absorbed in your work. If you find this confusing or difficult, don't worry, I'm going to follow up with another video with much more details and examples of what I expect. And I'm also open, and I would like you, in fact, to email me throughout the semester if you've got ideas about what you would like to write about. And I can kind of give you feedback, not only after the essay outline hand in, but also as ideas come to your head through the semester. Okay, so let's briefly discuss the contents. As you'll see, we have 4 main themes. There's, after the introduction, and a brief discussion about data and how it can be used and abused, which is coming this week. We'll discuss matters of inequality, what is driving it, what are the effects of inequality on the different dimensions, so income, wealth, and we'll talk about, well, the division of income between capitalists and labor, and particularly how tax competition, which is a particular interest of mine at least, is affecting these the income distributions in various economies. We'll speak about financialization. This is the increasing power and interests of the financial sector in modern global economies, or the shift from the non-financial sector that produce goods to produce more financial goods, or to try and align their interests with the financial markets. That's quite a broad definition, but as you will see, we'll get quite more specific in week 4. We will then link inequality to growth by discussing secular stagnation. The idea, or the finding, that Western economies particularly, but also likes of Japan and so on, generally developed industrialized economies are growing at very slow rates in recent years, and what is driving this, and what can we do about it. We'll also be discussing the various growth models that exist, so like the export-led case of Germany and China, and debt-led growth and the problems that it produces. And we'll go into various, much more depth on how economies grow, by what means. The third theme is instability. Here in particular, we'll be discussing the causes and consequences of the Great Recession of 10 years ago, and perhaps we'll find some relevance to the modern, the very current situation with the coronavirus crisis. We'll discuss in detail the climate crisis, one of the most pressing issues of our time, in week 8. And then the last theme is, let's say, a kind of, we're going to entertain what some will say are the limits to what the government can do. And we're going to try to find those limits and see, well, how much spending is too much spending? How much debt is too much? If we can simply spend our way to fix the climate crisis, then, well, what are the limits to that, for example? So here in particular, we're going to focus on public debts, how much is too much. I would like to do my best to include a very up-to-date discussion on corona bonds, what they are they necessary, how they could be achieved. And lastly, the last topic we will discuss in the week commencing on the 22nd of June, we will discuss the Phillips curve. So is it true that if a government spends, that in order to achieve higher employment, will there always be higher inflation, as is, I guess, typically expected within macroeconomics? We'll go into a little bit of the empirics and theory on the matter. In the last two columns, you see required reading and recommended reading. So the required reading is required for Thursday. We will discuss the readings you see here. I will also ensure that you have access to the required readings. I will upload them, provide them to you before Thursday of each week. Hopefully much before Thursday. The recommended reading is further references that you may find interesting if you want to strengthen your understanding of a particular issue that I present, or of the theory that I present, and so on. I will not be able to make all the recommended readings available to you, but perhaps if you really have trouble finding such literature through the library and so on, I may be able to get it depending on the exact resource. Okay, the deadlines for the outlines and the essay. Well, on the 1st of July, I would like you to submit your one-page essay plan. More on that to come in the next video. So that means you need to be developing your ideas before the 1st of July about how your essay is going to look, what macroeconomic phenomenon you're going to be looking at. And then on the 2nd of July, we will form groups, and we will discuss within groups of up to 10, maybe fewer, what you're planning to do. And I'll give you some feedback to allow you to know if you're going in the right direction, broadly, based on that one-page essay plan you submitted the day before. The final deadline for this course, the most important date in some sense, is the 1st of August 2020. By the end of the 1st of August, I expect your finished and final papers. There will be penalties. If you miss this deadline, please treat it as sacred. Get it in before the 1st of August. You have a whole month after the last discussion to write that paper of yours. You have basically from today to already start investigating and already start thinking about what you may want to write on. Okay, so by the end of the 1st of August, I expect your papers. I will expect you to upload it to Turnitin as usual. I will make the link for Turnitin available. And of course, I guess there won't be a paper submission. So Turnitin should suffice unless I find out that we need some sort of paper submission. I think it will all be Turnitin. Okay. So, and lastly, we have the literature. As I said, the required readings will be made available. The recommended readings are there if you would like to find them. Right. That's it for now. I hope yeah, you know what we're going to be doing. I hope you're excited about it. I hope you're going to fully commit to our discussions on Thursdays and send me any questions that you have. Yeah, please do get in touch if you do have any questions. And this is to be followed then about a video solely about the paper and examples of what I would think might be a good paper. Okay, that's it for now. Yeah, bye for now.